Hi, everybody, and welcome to Beyond the Frame Live. I'm very excited to have Andrew Maderios on the show today. He is from Bowl-O-Rama in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Welcome. How are you?
Thank you. Doing well. Doing well.
Good, good. Well, Andrew, we have been talking on Beyond the Frame that the competitive bowlers, for most centers, they were so ready to get back and they were anxious to get back and start practicing. And so they were some of the first bowlers that we saw back into the centers when they reopened. But we found that kids and families are a little bit more hesitant and they're a little bit more cautious than the competitive bowlers. So you have recently kind of switched your focus and shifted to kids and families on your approach to marketing. And you're doing your marketing post COVID-19 a little bit differently than you were doing before you closed down. Tell us a little bit about some of the campaigns that you're doing right now and how you're kind of focusing on kids and families.
Sure. Well, the first thing during the shutdown, my number one goal was really to continue the conversation with as many of our guests as possible and just keep that message out there, even though we were closed. I made it a goal to post on social media every day, and I think I can count on one hand the number of days that we didn't have a post go up. So it's been about keeping the conversation going. That's like first and foremost.
Absolutely.
And then that message being that we're safe, we're sanitized, and that we're really prepared. That's the number one message to get out, especially to those folks that you mentioned that are more cautious than others.
Absolutely.
And you asked about some of our marketing campaigns. We started a brand new campaign just about a week ago. That's something that I had never considered. And what we're doing is we got with iHeartMedia. And we are doing super targeted digital advertising. And this follows some of the social media advertising that I've been working on in the last year, and really focusing who we're trying to reach and figuring out what message we want to reach those people. So we have two big ads out there. One is through a streaming platform. Everybody likes to listen to music, and
yes.
So you go to a streaming platform, and we have actually an audio commercial, and it's only going to reach anybody that's listening on a device within 10 miles of our facility, and only if they're listening to specific genres of music that we've actually listed.
Okay.
So that's the first one. The other, which I'm super curious to get some more results on. We're already seeing a little bit of traffic from it. Is another digital campaign where we had some like little banner ads made up. If you've ever played games on your phone or whatever, supposedly there's 100,000 apps that these banners are integrated on. Again, super targeted. So they've actually created a profile for every device and where it goes. So it's basically location based. So anybody that visits either our facility or any of our competitors, again, we sent them an exhaustive list of all the local places for kids and families around our community.
Okay.
If that device visited those places, it created a profile, and now we're advertising our banner ads to those devices that have been those people. So we are literally like micro targeting the exact people that we are looking for.
So, oh, wow. That is very interesting. And I will have to follow up with you on the results of that, because that's quite interesting. Sure. And, we found that, customers don't mind to see ads if they're ads that are relevant to them. And so I think that your approach is just absolutely spot on. And I want to mention, you said iHeartRadio, and that's something that sometimes you don't hear people partnering with radio stations quite as much anymore. But, it's also an opportunity to barter. And I know when I was in the center, I did a lot of bartering with radio advertising, and they loved it because they would come in and bring their staff, and it was great for us. And, sometimes we'd even get on-air mentions about how much fun they had. So, exactly. I will definitely follow up with that, because I think that's a brilliant way of bringing those kids and families back in.
Yeah.
Speaking of kids, you're doing the Kids Bowl Free program, right, this year?
Yes. Yep.
Now, you've done it in the past as well, correct?
Yeah, I think this has been like 8, 9, 10 years, somewhere there. We've been doing it quite a while, almost as long as it's been around.
Okay. And have you seen any changes in the response this year?
Certainly, it's definitely been less traffic. Um, like we said, there's and I've heard, and now I really believe that there's three groups of people. The groups that, as soon as we opened, they were gangbusters in the door. They wanted to be here. Then there's the group that's, nope, I don't feel safe and don't feel comfortable yet. I'm not going out. And then it's the group in the middle, and that's the group that we're trying to reach. The ones that are kind of weary. Um, so for Kids Bowl Free, the numbers are down this year. And at the very beginning, when we reopened, we were seeing a lot of come in, bowl, and get out and feel safe. And for us,
Okay.
a lot of people are frustrated. Maybe centers that I hear from centers that are frustrated by that. And I see it completely the opposite. If we get them in the first time and show them everything that we're doing, the sanitization, the signage, covering the balls, everything, the safer they feel in coming back a second time. And so initially we weren't seeing much of the upsell that we normally see during the summer, where I would say 90% of our Kids Bowl Free traffic, they bowl, and then 90% of them either go to the arcade and play games, or they go to the restaurant and order food and drink, or the majority of them do both. So at the beginning of the summer, when we opened, we weren't seeing much of that at all. But as the summer has progressed, we have definitely seen them sort of start to take advantage of those different opportunities that we have available that they weren't doing at the beginning. So it's a gradual process, and it takes some patience to see it through.
Absolutely. And it's interesting that you say you're in the beginning they would just bowl and leave. It's nice. You obviously are sending out the message that you're safe and clean if people now are extending their stay and going to other places in the building and having their activities. So that you're doing it right, or they would not be doing that. So that's
Right.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's
we see
awesome.
it that way too.
And
Thanks.
I'm curious, with the Kids Bowl Free, you said you've been doing this for many years. Are you using that data also for some of your marketing going forward with reopening?
Yes. So, well, with reopening and just in general, for years we've captured a number of birthday parties directly from that Kids Bowl Free. I think I would say in the last couple of years we've gotten probably around in the area of 20 birthday parties just from that Kids Bowl Free data alone. And so through email marketing, we are pushing some of the programs that would pertain to them. So especially when the Kids Bowl Free program ends, or even before then, some of our other specials that would be applicable to those same families are definitely something that we're reaching out to them about, and try to continue that conversation even when the program ends. So like we have a family value night on Thursdays,
Mm-hmm.
and so we're reaching out to them on Thursday, or about that special, to use that data. We know that they're families, we know that they're kids, and this is a special that we have that's geared directly toward them. So we're reaching out and trying to just generate that repeat traffic.
Very nice. Now, have have the schools restarted there in your area?
It's been sporadic. They haven't started yet. Some are planning to start on time next week. Some are have already announced that they're going to delay by a couple of weeks. So it's usually within a 1 week window everything's open. But I think different school districts they're all doing their own thing, and so it's going to be
Sure.
sporadic here in the next couple of weeks.
Sure. And that brings up another topic, and that is with online schooling. For some school districts are doing a combination where they're doing online schooling in the beginning and then they're transitioning over to regular schooling. But
Right.
no matter what, that leaves an opportunity to have programs in place for either online schooling or programs in place to get field trips back in your center. Have you created any new programs or modified any of your existing programs to make accommodations for either one of those?
We have. So usually we'll have a lot of summer camps during the summer, lots of groups of kids from community centers, local community summer camps where the kids would go during the summer, and they would make trips here, some on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. And so where they're not coming in here, what we are going to try and do is, there's two parts of it really. The first part is that we're going to try and offer the same package deals that we would offer to the group itself, to the individual families within that would normally attend. So, maybe it was be a camp of 40 kids that would normally come in here. Well, now they're not usually coming in with a group of 40. So we're going to try and offer those same package deals to the individual families so that the same program is available in smaller groups.
Okay.
So that's one of the first things.
Right.
The second leads into our Learn to Bowl program, and we're really seasonal here in New England, so there's a lot of outdoor activities during the summer. And so our Learn to Bowl kits, the lanes, the backstops, which we put our logo on, the pins and everything, we send out to the schools for their phys ed programs during the school year. And in this case, we're going to try and offer them to different groups, really, no matter what it is. If it's a classroom, if it's a learning pod, if it's a small group, and offer them to different communities. Sometimes community centers, if the kids are remote learning, but the family still the parents still have to work, they have to send their kids somewhere.
Sure.
So I'm working on reaching out to figure out where they're going and how we can help offer those activities, because the way I see it, the more people that are thinking about bowling, even if it's not in our facility, the more traffic we'll see through our doors.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, another opportunity that we're seeing in some centers is reaching out to the homeschool programs,
Yes.
and trying to work with them as well. And I share with people all the time. BPAA has a beautiful curriculum that they have developed, and it's just a great program. And if you're a BPAA member, then certainly I would be leveraging that for some of these homeschool programs, or even, I know we have some centers that are doing the different pods, which we have a show on that tomorrow. But to use that curriculum and really be able to give extra value to the program is a great benefit as well for us, for the centers. So,
Yep.
Also, what about your birthday parties? How are birthday parties trending right now?
So they're still, I mean, they were basically non-existent. I would say once we shut down, I think it was like 50-50. Our birthday party before we shut down, the birthday parties were just absolutely through the roof. We recently renovated and sort of invigorated some new energy, and they were through the roof. So the ones that were on the books, I think about 50% of them said, hold our information, hold our deposits, we'll reschedule. So we've reached out to all of them, and we're just starting to see some birthday party inquiries come back now. So there's a real, there's an opportunity there that if we do it right, just like in regular times, but there's even more eyes on us now. So if we do it right now, hopefully that that will start to go back in the same direction. And we've done a few. The staff is really conscientious about making sure we give the birthday parties plenty of space and plenty of time to come in and clean up at the end, where normally before we may have sort of packed them up back to back. We're trying to plan more space in between to make sure that nobody's feeling rushed and that there's plenty of time for us to clean and take care of what we need to take care of.
For sure, for sure. And you brought up a good point. We were chatting a little bit about this before the show. It's really nice that the attention is on how nice and clean and fresh and sanitized centers are. And it's really, we're starting to see that it has really changed a lot of people's mindset on bowling as a whole. That it's clean, it's family fun, it's wholesome, and the spotlight on how clean it is has really been great, and in kind of changing the mindset of many people that still had this image of what it used to be, 25, 30 years ago, which was a little bit different, smoke filled and
Right.
a little bit different atmosphere than it is now. So I think that that's one of those, as I said, on our chat before show, that's one of those silver linings that I think is going to come out of it is the mindset that people have on how fun and how clean bowling is for people. So
Absolutely.
absolutely. So, and I noticed also that you had done some early on when you reopened. You had concentrated a little bit on those graduates that had missed that
Oh
milestone,
yeah.
able to celebrate that. How did that go?
That was a great success. We basically we figured actually that the town that we're in didn't even hold their graduation ceremony until like the middle of July, and so they were these poor kids were sort of on hold for all this time, and totally understandably so. But we got to thinking about all these celebrations and the sort of rite of passage that graduating high school or even college comes
Yes.
with, and we normally host, I want to say, around a half a dozen post graduation parties for schools
Mm-hmm.
all throughout the community, and obviously we couldn't do that for any of them, and it just kind of broke our heart. So we
Yeah.
decided to offer all of the graduating seniors a free hour of bowling with shoe rentals included, just as a way to say thanks and congratulations. And the response was great. We had a lot of them in here. Some of them came more than once, and that was fine with us. So it was nice to be able to give back to the community. Um, it traveled by word of mouth, so it got us into the spotlight, and we were able to do
Very.
something that we can really feel good about.
Absolutely. And that's one of those things that just it's the goodwill that you're showing. Just it positions the center so nicely there in the community. And you also did something for the frontline workers. Am I right?
Yeah, we did. That was actually the first event that we did when we reopened. And it
Mm-hmm.
had been on my mind for a couple of weeks. I wanted to wait till we got reopened, make sure that we were comfortable with our procedures and everything. And we did a similar deal. We let the any frontline worker, and we widely defined it. If it was, if somebody asked us, does this count? Don't ask. The answer is yes.
Sure. Come on
We
down.
yeah, we gave them basically we gave them our family value night deal. So we were actually able to broadcast our family value night message through that by saying, hey, this is the deal, but for the frontline workers it was free. So they got 2 hours of bowling, a slice of pizza, their shoe rental, and a drink. And we picked up the tab, and that was broadcast. I mean, we were on the TV news, we were on the radio news. We put out a press release. It got picked up by 2 newspapers. So it was a really great thing, and it basically cost us zero in order to do that. So it was well worth it.
Oh, that's right. And it has exposed your center. Again, it sheds a good light on your center that you're wanting to give back to the community. But it also exposed your center to a lot of those frontline workers that, like you said, they had families. You exposed them to the offerings that you have for families. And, I don't know if you've been able to track it yet, but I would venture to say that you would have gained, many new customers as a
Oh,
result
definitely.
of that, which is great. So it sounds like you guys have just got a lot of things going in your direction, and it's. I always like to ask, if you could give our viewers today that are watching us a few takeaways from what you've done up to this point, the words of wisdom that you could offer them, the things that have worked, and the things that you've kind of left behind. What would you like to leave our viewers with today?
I think the biggest thing is the ability and willingness to be flexible. The times are changing so fast, and it seems. And I joke about this with our team and even with our guests. It seems like every time I think I have it figured out, the next day something changes.
Yep,
And so being able to be flexible and sort of go with the flow and think about what who you're trying to reach, what the message is that you're trying to share with those people. And the third thing that I would say really is the more traffic you have in the door, the more the word of mouth is going to spread. And it's not overnight. I've said all along it's going to be a really slow process. But I think in general, basically everybody that's come through the door has said, especially if they were nervous going into it, like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready to bring my family out yet. They come in, they look around, they see everything that we're doing, and then they leave saying, that was a great time, and it really wasn't that bad. It wasn't that much to worry about. So it's just about sharing that message.
absolutely, absolutely. I I think that's a great message. And like I said, the fact that this has, it really has put a positive light on bowling as a whole. And I really think that that's been a message that, you know, we couldn't have gotten out globally as
Sure.
well. So I'm just really happy that that's one of the silver linings. If there's anything good that can come out of this horrible pandemic, that's one of them. So,
Yeah.
well, Andrew, I really appreciate you being our guest today. You are really doing some things that are exciting, and you've not been afraid to tiptoe into territory that maybe you're not quite as familiar with, and you've just done, the advertising that you've chosen to do. I'm definitely going to follow up with you and see how the results come out on that, because I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised with that.
Sure.
Again, it's really been a pleasure chatting with you today. Um,
Pleasure has been mine. Thank you very much
any
for having
parting
me.
words?
Just stay positive. We're gonna get through it, and I think bowling is back, and it's gonna come back. It just gotta be patient, diligent, and stay positive. Look for the good. That's what our family motto has always been, to look for the good. So thanks very much for having me, and good luck to everybody out there.
Absolutely. And for those of you that are watching, we are going to continue this conversation on kids and families tomorrow with another live show with Extreme Action Park. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of the solutions that they're offering that are quite unique. So you won't want to miss that. So make plans now to join us tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern and learn a little bit about the learning pods. Again, Andrew, thank you so much. It's been my pleasure. Viewers, I hope you all have a wonderful afternoon and stay safe.